So
and then something else is sent back again.
let's clarify then what is an unfinished business and how the flow between the subconscious and the conscious works. Let's say in this life or in another life you have a lesson to live. Let's say, for example, you have to learn about compassion. So to learn that compassion, you create an environment where you were surrounded by a lot of cruelty or pain. But instead of you have compassion or learn it about it, you chose to resent and to fight over or to fix it or to apply your own corruption, your own interpretation. That remain in the subconscious as a memory and will seek to come back into the conscious, to be resolved, to be looked at it again. So you may again manifest cruelty in your life, perhaps a little bit more evident or more physical or more tight, so you cannot escape that observation. So that's when the flow of the subconscious goes into the conscious. Now let's say that you are gaining a little bit about it. You work in yourself, you work in your perception, and you start understanding what compassion is. Then that information goes back into the subconscious, and the subconscious will create realities that match your perception. And that's a flow, constantly flow. So you don't know in the center of your earth what is going to be presented to you. Here the opportunities are randomly offered to you, and you just need to be alert to see how to play it out. There's no formula on it. But there is an order. The divine order is that you have this flow, those unfinished things. It will come back sooner or later to the conscious, and the conscious will transmit back. And that's how the coexistence between the conscious and the subconscious. Now, why we don't get our lessons is because they are paradoxic. Like, I am learning compassion and you are throwing at me pain. How this really works. I'm supposed to learn compassion through a nice big mother and who loves me and is very compassionate. Because we learn by opposites, by life gives you both. It gives you the opposites, and also it gives you the complementary. It gives you the supplements, and it will give you the complements. That's a term that we studied a while ago. No? The supplement is something that it makes your body, it's something similar to you. So you may have 2 or 3 people who show you very kindly what is compassion. And on the complementing part, you may find somebody who show you compassion by not having compassion. Right? So it becomes a paradox. I learn through complements and supplements. Our mistake is that we turn it into a duality. We turn it into this is good, this is bad. This person is bad, this person is good. I prefer this person than the other person. and then we turn that paradox into conflict or into duality.
Did you say turn the person or the situation?
Turn the paradox into conflict.
Okay, the paradox into conflict.
So, in the root of every conflict, there is an unfinished paradox. There is the conflict that help you to grow, and there is the conflict that help you to understand paradoxes.
So in the root of conflict there is
Unfinished paradox.
an unfinished understanding of the paradox.
Yes. Okay, so let's finish this dynamics here. So these dynamics can come from our unfinished things or can come from the rays, meaning from our own purity. Things that we can actually have mastered and things that we're good at it, or things that that we are supported by our own guides and masters and just the natural way of evolution. So some things, the unfinished things are going to be more uncomfortable, and the things coming from the rays are going to be more uplifting or expansive or Now, if you can imagine the amount of flow that we receive from each of the interfaces, 12 of those, and from each of the rays, can you imagine how much flow comes into the conscious and how much flow comes from the conscious to the unconscious? It's tremendous. It's tremendous. Not only things that are unfinished, but things that are of different frequencies. All these frequencies are nature of earth. So we have the imprint of matter, and all this one have the imprint of a sky. So they are different in nature. Each of these rays have a very distinct flavor. So it's like making a salad, right?
So that's why sometimes there is that sense of being overwhelmed because of all the different frequencies, their different nature, and that's we're constantly, I wouldn't say processing, but we're always in that energy.
We're always in that energy. Now, that's where the second stage of our studies comes into play, which is the organs and of embodiments, the Adishta meditation, and the Start of David. Because all this, it goes in the heart. So, in the heart, you have the union of earth, exactly this, and that's a chamber. And then you have the union of sky, and that form the Start of David.
You said union of heart or earth?
Earth and sky
Yeah.
united, sealed, is one of the main platforms of the heart. And for that we have the initiation of the Start of David. We also have the organ of embodiment. Well, before the organ of embodiment, we have the Adishta membrane, which is the ones with the rings that are constantly metabolizing those flows. So it moves like the same movement of the atoms and the electrons and protons and neutrons is the same. It moves in the heart and it moves outside of you as well. That is decoding and assimilating all that flow that comes from the conscious or the subconscious. Okay, so that meditation is also very important. Now, after that is metabolized or formed into your own capacity of the heart, then you have to embody it. And for that, then you have the organ of embodiment. And the organ of embodiment is like a please. I explain that in the meditations. There are pleases. Pleats. I don't want to go too much into it because it's all in the course of embodiment. But that allows you to distribute to the rest of your body and to the rest of your earth bodies, all the consciousness, that information. So this is your lovely, lovely heart. That's the dynamics of it.
What did you just point? I see. You just put the heart around it.
That's the heart. Okay, so behind the heart you have all this inflow of 12 energies, interfaces. Now, let's distinguish here about that this is an organ, like your tongue or your stomach or your actual physical heart is an organ. So if you can imagine that the organ is very quiet and is very innocent and it doesn't have much interest in anything except to metabolize this flow of the divine order. So when you receive from the subconscious, let's say a dream or some memory or a situation where you need to figure things out quickly, the organ works and manifests outside what is the circumstances that you need to play out. So it is that flow from the subconscious, heart, and conscious, heart, subconscious, that makes your reality. That's the infinite movement.
It's all that infinite loop, huh?
It's the infinite torus. Have you heard about the torus?
Mm-hmm.
The shape, right?
Yeah. I have that amount of energy, incredible amount of energy. Now, when we have our distortions, concepts, values, belief system, it creates a crust, and that filter that movement, and then we lose energy. The heart then it becomes sick, it becomes heavy. But it's the organ that becomes that. So all of us have that organ. The more that energy flows, the chakra turns, and this organs becomes so rapid movement that it becomes like a ball of energy. It's the platform of the Start of David, then the Adishta movement, and the organ of embodiment. Did this start making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Now, why I want to review that is the cluster, the belief system and all that is because it's based on duality. Those belief systems are based in duality. I am good, I am bad, I need to be good, I need to be bad. Avoid violence. All that is just a tiny, thick rust that doesn't allow the flow.
What doesn't allow the flow?
Hmm?
What doesn't allow the flow?
The belief system.
The belief.
Yeah. The dualities. All belief systems are more or less based on duality.
So this rust, is it actually on the organ of embodiment?
Yes, it's in the heart.
Goes into the heart.
But is it in all parts like the
Well, they
membrane?
have different. You have favorite things.
It's like in the body.
Yeah.
It's exactly like in the body.
Yeah.
When metabolism is not potentialized, then we have a large amount of radicals, free radicals. It's like rust, and it impedes the flow.
Correct.
Of the incoming energy and the outcoming energy.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yeah, you see it in nature too.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the detox is such
Yeah.
an important part in all levels.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, our today what we want to focus is how to distinguish between those dualities and the actual paradox, because the structure is paradoxic in itself. In consciousness or in the earth bodies, you have matter, you exist, you die, and the soul bodies, you never die, you always have exist, there's no beginning or no end. Here is beginning and end. Here you have a mind, over there is no mind.
There's the concept of time.
So that's the duality.
They have the concept of time, but over there is no concept. So it
becomes
the
That's
paradox
the
can be that's paradox. It's paradoxic in nature. It's distinctively different, and they are not fighting. See, when we see paradoxes, we think in conflict, or that they are conflictive. But the biggest mistake that prevents our liberation is that they are actually complementary. They are actually, one cannot exist without the other one. But because we have this belief system, we see it as a conflict. And where is conflict, then we want to fight. We want to resolve it. We want to intervene. We want to understand it. But we cannot understand this. If I say, okay, give me how you are going to understand this part of the game. You can't. You cannot understand. It's just gonna flow. So, statements like, I am and I am not, is paradoxic. Right? The more I become smaller, the more I expand. That's paradoxic. I am here and I am everywhere. That's paradoxic. I am many and I am nobody. That's paradoxic. And that disturbs the seeker, because you want to understand, but you can't. You cannot understand paradox. All you can do is to accept it. Once you realize that, okay, this have one dynamics and this dynamic complement this, and this have a different completed dynamic and also make this, then you relax about it. If I say, you're gonna die and you will never die, you go, huh? What do you mean? Or In order to go forward, you need to go backwards. Huh? So, are we understanding paradox?
So paradox is basically like when you say I'm here and I'm everywhere, like all the other paradoxes, you already are that, right?
Correct.
Right, you already are that.
You're
That's
already
your
there.
like nature or.
You are a paradox. We are a paradox.
And how does that create? So, if I'm here and everywhere, right? That creates. What is the interaction with, like, what is the, so that creates a paradox, and then how does that affect me, or like?
It doesn't. It is. It doesn't have a cause or effect. Cause and effect is over here. All is, we need to realize we are a paradox. And we need to distinguish that my interpretation of paradox is being through conflict, which is a complete different dynamic.
My interpretation of paradox is through conflict.
Yes, we understand or we think that paradoxes are conflictive, that it cannot reconcile or coexist.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
And then we make a conflict. Or conflict is opposite forces like good and bad. That's a big conflict in humans. And conflicts don't allow you to see the paradox or to accept the paradox, because you're always fighting with it.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to solve the conflict. I need to be good. I need to avoid to be bad. I need to. We enter into that mode of doing and mode of salvation and mode of guilt and avoiding the good, the bad, and preferring the pleasant. So the conflict prevents the heart to metabolize the paradoxes. When you understand the paradoxes, the heart relaxes. Because it is okay. That's how it's happening here. In the center, you cannot figure it out what the game is gonna be. It will flow randomly, because all this information coming from so many parts, I cannot control it. Now, does this make sense?